Okey-dokey. Good evening. We're calling this meeting to order of the Frankfort Village Board, a regular meeting. It's Tuesday, July 5th, 2022, and we'll ask our village administrator, Rob Pisha, to take the roll, please.
Mayor Ogle.
Here.
Trustee Ludden.
Here.
Trustee Savaria.
Here.
Trustee Farina.
Here.
Trustee Borelli.
Here.
Trustee Rossi.
Here.
Trustee Petro is absent. Attorney Mahoney.
Here.
Chief Chalepis.
Here.
And village administrator is here.
Thank you, Rob. If everyone would stand and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started tonight, I would like to make a couple comments here. Our hearts and our prayers are with the Highland Park victims, their families, and the entire Highland Park community. Yesterday's parade was intended to be a celebration of community, a celebration of independence, but most importantly, a celebration of freedom. Kim and I were just at Ravinia in Highland Park on Friday evening as the invitation of their mayor, Nancy Rotering, as part of the Metropolitan's Mayor's Caucus. We were stunned when we heard the news yesterday. I want to commend the exceptional job done by their first responders. When the crowd was fleeing, their police and emergency personnel were bravely rushing towards danger. We live in a fallen world. Evil exists. Corruption exists. Bad things happen, but we cannot allow those with bad intent to manipulate our emotions or our empathy against us. We cannot live in fear. In Frankfort, our police were working closely with multiple agencies and monitoring all law enforcement updates provided by the state to make sure there were no additional threats. Communication between the police department here and the Frankfort Park District took place all day long. When all information indicated that it was an isolated incident, the Park District decided to move forward with the fireworks show, as did our neighbors in New Lenox and Mokina. There were additional safety precautions that were also put in place, and our Chief Chalepis will speak more about this later in her report tonight. Now we'll get back to the regular meeting here. Thank you. We have what's called the unanimous consent agenda. The items on this consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one single motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. At this time, I ask if any board members would like to remove any items from the consent agenda. Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Trustee Savaria, a second by Trustee Borelli. The first item on here is the approval of the meeting minutes from the June 20th, 2022 meeting. If there are no changes to that, we'll move to Trustee Savaria for the bills.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for those words. It was a terrible tragedy. I'll keep the bills short tonight. The bills this month were $430,929.20. I did want to call out some of the vendors that we do business with locally. We had line items from Alsip Nursery, Curry Motors, Local Printing and Design, Minutemen Press, Jewel Foods, Park Ace Hardware, and Russo Power Equipment. Just kind of our dedication to continue to purchase locally. That's all I had.
Thank you. Now we'll go to an item from the Committee of the Whole, and we'll go to Trustee Farina.
Thank you, Mayor Ogle. The following is the annual appropriation ordinance for fiscal year 2022 and 2023, the adoption of it. At the June 8th Finance Committee meeting and June 20th Committee of the Whole meeting, Finance Director Jenny Booth presented the annual appropriation ordinance for fiscal year 2023. As required by state statute, the Village Board is required to pass an annual appropriation ordinance specifying the village's legal maximum spending limits before the end of the first quarter of each fiscal year. In this ordinance, the corporate authorities may appropriate such sums of money as are deemed necessary to defray all necessary expenses and liabilities of the village to be paid or incurred during the next fiscal year. The corporate authorities have determined that the total amount of $61,437,700 is necessary to defray all necessary expenses and liabilities for fiscal year 2023. The total appropriated amount of $61,437,700 is $6,819,708 higher than last year's appropriation of $54,617,992. This increase mainly relates to the increased funding for the street resurfacing program, the Pfeiffer Road Extension Project, and overall operational increases, including personnel costs. This year's total appropriation is $5,346,300 over the total budgeted amount of $56,091,400. A notice of hearing on this appropriation ordinance was published on June 22nd, 2022, and is pursuant to that notice, a hearing was held immediately prior to this meeting. A copy of the proposed appropriation ordinance was made conveniently available for public inspection at the Village Hall and Frankfort Public Library. It was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the Village Board to adopt the FY 2023 appropriation ordinance as presented. The following motion is to accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole, waive the first and second readings, and pass the annual appropriation ordinance providing an appropriation for corporate purposes in the amount of $61,437,700 for fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2022, and ending April 30th, 2023 for the Village of Frankfort. And that is all, Mayor Ogle.
Thank you, Trustee Farina. Now we'll go to a Plan Commission item. We'll go to Trustee Ledden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item is the Chase Bank Service Utility Areas Variance located at 20801 South LaGrange Road. Chase Bank proposes to install solar panels on roof of the existing building located at 20801 South LaGrange Road. The proposed rooftop solar panels would be located on all four sides of the pitched roof, including on top of the pitched roof over the drive-through. Historically, the village has classified non-residential rooftop solar panels as mechanical equipment, which must be screened from view from public right-of-ways, adjoining properties, and adjacent residential structures. The applicant requests the granting of a public service utility area variance to allow for unscreened rooftop equipment. At the June 23rd public hearing on the project, the Plan Commission discussed the variance request and voiced concerns with the aesthetics of the solar panels. Members voiced a preference for shingles to match the color of the solar panels to minimize any adverse visual impact. The Plan Commission forwarded us two split 4-1 recommendations of the Village Board to approve the variance request, conditioned upon the future roof shingles to be of a similar color to the solar panels when the existing roof shingles have reached the end of their lifespan. The motion before us this evening is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting a variation from Article 7, Section A, Part 3C, and Part 10 of the Village of Frankfort zoning ordinance to permit service utility areas rooftop solar panels that are not screened from view on the existing building located at 20801 South LaGrange Road, in accordance with the reviewed plans, public testimony, and findings of fact, with the condition that when the roof shingles have reached the end of their lifespan and are ready to be replaced, that they be of a color that closely matches the color of the solar panels, and the roof shingle color shall be verified by village staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Ledden. Those are the items that are on the unanimous consent agenda for tonight. Is there any discussion on those items? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to Village Administrator for the vote.
Trustee Rossi? Yes. Trustee Borelli? Yes. Trustee Farina?
Yes.
Trustee Savaria?
Yes.
Trustee Ledden?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you, Rob. Next item on here is the Mayor's Report. The Frankfort Public Library will host the next Fridays on the Green event on July 8th at Brighter Green from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Entertainment will feature a music show by Wendy and DB, For additional details and a full list of featured performers coming up this summer, visit frankfortlibrary.org. The 10th Annual Bluegrass Festival is scheduled for this Saturday, July 9th, and Sunday, July 10th in downtown Frankfort. This is a free 2-day family-friendly event which features over 40 performances by more than 20 national, regional, and local bands. This is actually an internationally recognized and acknowledged festival. Enjoy free concerts, workshops, a kids' activity area, and lots of picking and jamming for the whole family. I think that's be picking and grinning, used to be. So you want to visit frankfortbluegrassfest.com and come on down, and also make your reservations at our restaurants. It's a fantastic weekend, and the weather's supposed to be nice. The second of our 3 Movie on the Green events is scheduled for Wednesday, July 13th. The feature film is The Grinch, which is a PG movie. The movie will begin at 8:30 p.m. or dusk on Briar Green. In case of bad weather, the movie will be moved to the following Wednesday, which is July 20th. The Frankfort Arts Association will showcase their next exhibit, which is a watercolor artwork by local artists called Watercolor Whimsy. It'll run from July 14th through October 21st right here at the Village Hall. It's in the hallway that you can see when you stop in at the creamery to get your ice cream. You can pop in and take a look at it. You can visit frankfortartsassociation.org for more information. The annual Rib Cook-Off event is scheduled for Saturday, July 30th in downtown Frankfort also. Amateur chefs will cook on site, and a public rib tasting will begin at 12:30. The ticket sales begin at noon, and make sure you are here at noon because these do sell out. They go pretty quick. Prizes are awarded for first, second, third, and then a crowd pleaser award. The event is co-sponsored by the Village of Frankfort, the Frankfort Area J.C.'s, and the Frankfort Lions Club. You can be part of this, and you can pick up your application packet. It's available on the Village website, or you could come into the Village. And sort of the last item here, too. You may not have had an opportunity to interact with some of our employees. We have a very exceptional group of people that work for the Village of Frankfort on your behalf. And we have early voting that takes place here, and the election is one of the services that we decided to offer to our residents. And we just wanted to recognize Teresa Cork, Heather Smith, Marina Zambrano, and Sue Lynchy, who worked and manned all those voting stations here for the early voting. Like I said, we have many exceptional employees, and you may not ever get the chance to interact with some of them, but we just wanted to recognize them as well. So that's it for the mayor's report, and now we go to our board comments, and tonight we'll start with Trustee Ledden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I share many of the sentiments that you expressed with regard to the tragedy that happened yesterday in Highland Park. I'm sure it was a shock for all of us to have something like that happen so close. And I heard this morning that there's been over 300 mass shootings in the United States since the beginning of this year, 12 this month. So we do live in some unusual, turbulent times. And I would like to commend the police department and the Park District, as the mayor said, because I'm sure their day changed pretty quickly yesterday in trying to assess if we could move forward with the events that were planned here in Frankfort. And I appreciate their efforts on the holiday to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Ledden. Trustee Savaria.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Trustee Farina.
Thanks, Mayor Ogle, and I too want to echo Trustee Ledden's comments about your mention of the Highland Park tragedy yesterday during Independence Day, and I think they were spot on. And I want to acknowledge the residents of Highland Park and their officials. Law enforcement did an amazing job there. They ran toward the danger, and it always amazes me, such brave men and women in law enforcement, and they were able to get the suspect in no time. So kudos to your colleagues up there, Chief, on all levels, local, state, and federal, and thank you for your work yesterday, as well as Deputy Chief Dowdings and the rest of the department to ensure we're safe too. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Farina. Trustee Borelli.
Thank you, Mayor Ogle, and thank you for your statement at the onset of the meeting. It was really spot on, and I appreciate it, and Trustee Ledden's sentiments as well. And I just want to also take a moment to promote the Bluegrass Fest. I mean, it's been a 2-year hiatus, so I think last time it was held was 2019, and at that time it won Best Event of the Year by the International Bluegrass Association. So it's a big deal, and it's so fun and unique. Nothing like it in the Midwest. Nothing like it around here for sure. And so if you've never been there, come out. Even if you don't like bluegrass music, if you don't like, there's just so many different types of activities for kids. It's very family friendly, as the mayor mentioned. It's just a really cool, unique event, and it's become a staple of the great events we have here. So hope everyone can get out there. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Burley. Trustee Rossi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, just want to say all the people affected by that tragedy in Highland Park, you're in our thoughts and prayers. Second thing is, I do want to thank the Village of Frankfort, the Frankfort Park District, the Frankfort Fire Department Union, and the Frankfort Foundation for sponsoring those fireworks. I know it was a tough decision yesterday, but I think it was the right decision. And hearing all the oohs and ahs during the fireworks just kind of made you feel better about what happened yesterday. It helped a little bit take everybody's minds off of it for a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rossi. Now we'll go to our village administrator for the report.
Mr. Mayor, I have no report tonight.
Okay, thank you, Rob. All right, now we go to our police chief, Leanne Chalepis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To echo the sentiments of all the elected officials that have already spoken so eloquently regarding the Highland Park tragedy, our police agency additionally would like to extend our sympathy to the many victims of the Highland Park tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims, their families, the involved first responders, and the entire Highland Park community. To address our response and decision-making yesterday, as the mayor spoke to, we were receiving intel updates from state, federal, and some local law enforcement that was working up there as well, and getting updates. And after some time, we were able to see that all the indicators showed this was an isolated incident. So we felt comfortable recommending moving forward, and really it was up the Park District's call, and they felt very comfortable with that as well. So ultimately it was up to them. Additional officers were staffed, and they were doing foot patrols and had a nice presence at the event, and all the officers were briefed with updates and just made sure that they were doing their patrols and hoping to keep everyone's mind at ease and watch for anything suspicious. So moving forward, we have a few events coming up, larger scale events, and everyone, wants to know, what are we doing? Just know that we are always working with all the participating agencies at each event, whatever it is. We work with local law enforcement agencies, the fire district we work closely with, and state and federal partners to always be enhancing public safety and looking at each event and a safety plan. So we will always do our best, and we are here to respond and support the community in any way we can. And I have one more announcement, Mayor. In addition to that, we are going to be making another attempt at our Coasting with a Cop event. It got rained out last time, so we're looking at Saturday, July 16th from 1 to 2 p.m. We are going to try the same location at Indian Boundary Park over by the pump track. And this is just supposed to be a really fun event for families. Bring your bikes out. You can get some bicycle safety information and go for a bike ride with some of our officers. So we hope for good weather this time and for a lot of attendees. You can find more information about this event. It will be on the village website and our Facebook page. And that is all I have tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. And again, I think we all want to thank you and our entire department for all that you did. Now we go to our attorney, George Materney, for the attorney's book.
No, I have no report tonight.
Thank you, George. Is there any other business to come before the board tonight?
Can we get an update on the 2 RFPs we have out there? No update?
No. Okay. Any other business? Okay. Anyone in the audience would like to make a public comment at this time? All right. Hearing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Farina, second by Trustee Savaria. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstain? Motion carries. Good evening, everyone.